Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Sportscast. We're on episode 5, and today we're going to be covering the top 10 ACC quarterbacks. And I think the ACC is a bad rap. Their conference is not very good except for Clemson, but I think their QBs are starting to look better. They have lots of good young players, so let's get into it. Number 10 on the list, we have Tommy DeVito of Syracuse. Last year, he threw for over 2,300 yards, 19 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, 63% completion percentage. Very efficient, but he's not explosive. He's not really runner, only 122 yards rushing, but I do think that him and the Syracuse program will get better this year. At number 9 on the list is Kenny Pickett of Pitt. Last year, he threw for over 3,000 yards, 13 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, had a 62% completion percentage. That was as a freshman, too. He was good as a freshman. He has the it factor, and I think Pitt will be better this year. At number 8, we have James Blackman of Florida State. He might not even be the starter there, but for the sake of argument, we'll say he will be. He is a new head coach. He is a fresh start. Taking a look at his stats, he threw for over 2,300 yards, 17 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, at a 63% completion percentage, 142 passer rating. And that was splitting time, and this year he is the full starter, so that's a lot of pressure. We'll see how he handles it. At number 7 is Sam Hartman of Wake Forest. His 2018 stats: threw for almost 2,000 yards, 16 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, 55% completion percentage, had 275 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns. That was as a true freshman, but Newman did come in when he got hurt. He is tough, and I'd say his playing style is similar to Burrow. He's not Joe Burrow, but his playing style is similar, and I think Wake can make some noise in the ACC this year. Coming in at number 6 is Chase Bryce. He was the backup at Clemson last year. His career stats: just over 1,000 yards, 9 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. He delivered in the pressure situation when he had to come in for the injured Trevor Lawrence to lead a comeback in Syracuse. So he delivered then, and I think he'll be good in Duke with a really good quarterback coach there. And here we go with the top 5. At number 5 is Hendon Hooker of Virginia Tech. He not overwhelming stats, just over 1,500 yards, 13 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. His team got better with him starting, and he is a good runner, 356 yards and 5 touchdowns. I think Virginia Tech will be good this year. At number 4, we have Malik Cunningham of Louisville. I think he's going to be the breakout star in the ACC this year. His stats: splitting time, he had over 2,000 yards, 22 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, 62% completion percentage, 482 rush yards with 4 touchdowns. He's a pocket passer traditionally, but he is a really good runner. And we didn't put it on here, but he has 190 passer rating, which is ridiculous, and he will be the breakout star in the ACC this year. At number 3, we have Derek King, a transfer from Houston to Miami. He played a little bit in 2019, then registered in one of the strangest things I've ever seen. His stats in 2018, though: threw for almost 3,000 yards, 36 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, had 674 rush yards, 14 touchdowns there, and he has better talent, way better talent in Miami than in Houston, so I think he will be a top 3 quarterback in the ACC this year. At number 2, we have Sam Howell of North Carolina. Last year, he was 3rd-team All-ACC as a true freshman. Threw for 38 touchdowns, 3,600 yards, 7 interceptions, had a 160.2 passer rating. And he almost beat Clemson. Lots of the North Carolina games were close last year, especially the ones they lost. And I think they'll pull away in a couple of those games this year. So Sam Howell is your number 2 quarterback. And at number 1, there's no doubt about it, it is Trevor Lawrence. I would say he had a down year last year. He still had a really good year, but for him, he kind of disappointed me. Just 3,600 yards, 36 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, had 563 rush yards, which we really didn't expect. But I definitely expected more. He had a bit of a sophomore slump, but I do think that he will be the number 1 pick in this year's upcoming NFL draft. And that is it, the top 10 ACC quarterbacks this year. It is clear-cut on the top 10. There really isn't anyone else in. You could make an argument for Thompson of Virginia, the transfer from Mississippi State, but make sure to comment below your top 10 and any changes you'd make. See you next time on the cast.